I'd like to tell you a little story that my brother and I had when I was 6 and he was 5. We lived on the desert, about 5 miles away from town, and we had a big family and a little house and a farm. He and I decided to go up on the desert and look around a little bit, see what was up there. So we walked up there, and as we went, we got about, I don't know how far, quite a bit, quite a ways up there, maybe half a mile or something like that. And we suddenly heard in and around and between the sagebrush some little sounds like do you recognize that sound? If you've ever been around little puppies, that's what they do, especially if they're hungry. And that's what we heard. And we thought, where in the world are those little puppies? So we started looking around for them, and we found a big hole in the ground, about that big around. And we looked down in there the best we could. And once we got the sun shaded away from it, we could see down there and see there are some little puppies, little gray puppies. Oh, they were cute. We decided we want to see them closer. So I let Dave down in the hole and he helped me down in there, and we sat on the floor of that den and we picked up those little puppies and we stroked them and played with them, and they were jumping around and they were snuggling up to us, and I held one of them up and it licked my nose twice before I could even move it. They were so cute. We spent about a half an hour there just playing with those little puppies. We thought we'd had the time of our lives. It was just wonderful. So we decided we better go back down. So I pushed him back up out of the hole and he lifted me up out of the hole. We started back down the hill and we were talking about the little puppies. Now we couldn't wait to get back to them someday, and look at them again and play with them. Well, it was time for chores and my dad was out in the barn. So we decided to go out there and tell him what we'd experienced. Such a great deal. So fun. And we walked over to the barn and walked in, and we were all grins and smiles. And Dad said, "Where you been?" So we told him the whole story. And he looked at us with a real serious face and he said, "Boys, do you have any idea how lucky you are to be alive?" We looked at him like, "What are you talking about? They're little tiny puppies." And he said, "If that mother coyote, that was a coyote, those were coyote pups. If that mother had come home while you were there, it would have jumped down in that hole and tore you to pieces trying to protect its puppies. Not only that, now that you've been there, you've held those little puppies, you've petted them, you spent time with them. Now your scent, your smell is on them. And nature will tell that coyote to kill those puppies, and it will kill every one of them." Our hearts sunk clear down past our navel and into our brisket. We didn't know what to do. We just felt so horrible. And as we went out of the barn and we started walking over to the house, and we just looked at each other and we were both just about ready to bawl. We were so sad. And I said, "Dave, I've just got to go up there tomorrow morning. I know Dad doesn't want us to, but surely we can sneak over there and look down there and see if they're still alive anyway." He says, "Yeah." So the next morning, while Dad was out in the barn, we went walking up there. We found the hole pretty fast. And we knelt down and we looked down into the hole, and there wasn't anything, not a sign of a puppy in that hole. No puppies. The mother had taken the puppies out. Then we began to wonder, I wonder if she killed them. And so we started looking down in there to see if we could see anything. And then we suddenly realized that there was blood on the side of the hole. That mother coyote had killed its puppies and pulled them up through the hole, and their blood saturated hides, as they scooted out of the hole on the sand, it left blood marks, and we knew what had happened. Again, our hearts sunk so low. We were so sad as we walked back down to the farmhouse. and not to tell our dad, but down to the farmhouse to have breakfast and all the other things that you do on a farm. And it was a sad story. The thing to understand, if you decide to do something like that, find out what you're going to do, what it is that you're intruding on. Learn a little bit about it. If we'd have just gone to Dad first and said, we found this hole up there and it's got little puppies in it. Do you mind if we go play with them? We'd have learned a lot. The puppies would have still been alive, and we'd have known that you don't do that. So when you go to do something, you make sure you find out what it is you're going to do and what the reaction might be before you ever get involved.